So what is block detection then?
Let me try and draw an oval track. I'm using this little model here that I haven't opened yet. It looks very nice, by the way. And seeing as we've got that little bit of pen going off there, we've got a curve point there. And that can be going off to a siding. And we might have another point here, going off to another siding or a platform or whatever. Now, we have a train. We'll use the red pen. A train here. Yeah, that can be our train. So red, train, blue, track. When we're looking down with our own eyes, we can clearly see where the train is. You switch your points and you drive your train. But with a computer, it hasn't got eyes, it hasn't got ears. So we've got to give it eyes and ears and senses. The way we do that is using block detection. Now, the real railways use block detection as well. But to briefly explain, I'm going to take my green pen now. We're going to isolate the points, right? So they're in their own block. Now we want to know where the train is. So I'm going to split this siding maybe into 2 blocks, maybe even 3. I'll tell you for why in a minute. This other siding, it's a shorter siding, so it comes into here and we've just made a small block after this. Then the rest of the track, I might split up into blocks like this. Voila. So now these are the blocks and I might want to label these blocks. So I could label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I might even want to label these. I'll put them in a different colour because the points 13 and 14. And so all the block detection units are doing are wiring in to these blocks. There's 2 rails on each track and there's different ways of doing this, but usually I will put a dropper wire down and various dropper wires from one rail. If I draw the track from a front view, you can see I'll drop one wire off and that will, all wires that I drop will just go together like a dropper or a dropper feed wire. And on this one, this is the one that goes for detection. So that'll probably be a red wire that will go to your detection. You can choose whichever one you want, as long as you always make them the same. So these go to the blocks, block detection units. We'll make that detection unit purple. Yeah, not that you can tell. So they're your detection units. So they go to the detection unit, which then tells iTrain through the command station where your train is.
Now, there is something important you've got to remember here as well. Not all control systems will connect to a computer control block detection system. For instance, Digitrax does, and it uses LoConnect. Now, an Elite controller by Hornby or a Select controller by Hornby runs on a system called ExpressNet. And they're the little ABC inputs on the front. It says LoConnect above it on that Digitrax controller. And that is what you need, not ExpressNet. Although these connections look very similar, they're very different. So you can't have computer control with ExpressNet. Now, there has been one product on the market, but I've never heard of anybody use it and say what it's like, called an ExpressNet to LoConnect bridge. Yes, there are other protocols. A protocol is a set of rules that any sort of wiring system obeys or whatever. So LoConnect is a protocol. There are other protocols on the market, but this is the one that most people adhere to, especially over here in the UK. So it's all to bear in mind when you're buying a control system, if computer control is something that you're thinking about down the line. And one other little thing before we get back to the drawing again, because sometimes as well, pens on paper are far better than things on screens and in computers, but that's another story altogether. Not all computer control software will run on a Mac. And if you've got a Mac system like I have, that's why I've gone for iTrain. I've always found, having had both Mac and Windows, Mac was always a lot better when it came to creative interests.
When there's a dropper wire and a detection wire, and all that is feeding the track like it normally would for DCC, but these wires are going through these units, and these units pick up current. So it will be able to see that the train is in this block. It's in block 9. And as it moves into block 8 and crosses over, both will light up and then go different colours. And that's basically how it works. So yeah, do you get what I'm saying?
So you'll plug a low connect cable into this unit, which will then run to your Digitrax or whatever command station you've got with a low connect input on it. Plug that into that. And then you're running a USB cable out from your command station to your computer.
Via USB. And that's how the computer then and iTrain can analyse where everything is. And that's my rough idea on block detection.
And the more detection points you've got on your layout, the more chance iTrain has at stopping your locomotives and your trains more accurately. You can see now why at the end of the sidings I've put that little extra small block in, because I can instantly stop the train as it slows down in block 8, it slows even more in block 9, and as soon as it hits block 10, boom, it stops. And it's going that slow that you won't see it judder. So I can have very accurate stopping. And you can also see now in Modeloco ml91 why I needed something like the speed stick. Because as you get into iTrain and into block detection and computer control, every locomotive that we have on our layouts, due to the motors and the gearing and the wear and tear, run at different speeds. So you have to speed check all your locos. So the speed stick for me is an absolute godsend. And I've isolated my points, so if a train was ever to stop on the points, it would tell iTrain that the points were blocked, an obstruction. So that's why I do it that way.
You might want to add things in the comments below, but that's just a basic take, free fall thought on how it works. All these tracks will be joined together on one rail with your normal fish plates, but the detection tracks will be isolated with plastic fish plates. And when you come to the points, I totally isolate. They're all going to have plastic fish plates on where the points are. And I always put a little bit of track in after the point that can put a dropper wire on to feed it separately. And it's just what I was told to do. Save a train in here. And this train wants to come down onto that line. It will then wait for that one to clear before it sets off, and vice versa. You know, if this train wants to come in here, it won't come in here until this one has reversed out and gone on its way, or come down and reverse that way. It all makes sense, if you know what I mean.
And yes, there is a learning curve, but it's all really logical once you suss it out, step by step, but don't rush. So I do hope that helps you in the basic sort of understanding of block detection. I probably left a few things out. You know how the mind is when you're thinking so many things at once. Just one thing to add as well, whether you're using DigiKaigis or your Mork, you always want to place these units as close to the action area as possible. So those feed wires, the red and black ones, wants to be as short as possible. The low connect cables, they can vary in length. Like cat cable, the low connect cables will carry information very fast, so you can have really long lengths of those. The cable that I've used, you can see, and it's bought on eBay, it's about $14.99, and you get 100 meters. I advise you always get a spool with your wire, otherwise you can get into a bit of a tangle. So these units split into 2 halves of 8 will detect 16 in total areas on your layout. So I've used a numbering system for all the wiring on the layout, and the labeling system that I'm using is just a spool of sticky labels that I found to be the most cost effective. I've mentioned them before when I've gone into laying track and things like that. Below that we can see the bus wire loose. There's 2 bus wires. There's also another bus wire coming from the tracks. So these can be just all wrapped together, so to speak, into one bus wire. And then there's a LocoNet cable hanging spare, which will daisy chain to the Digitrax DCS210 Plus command station. And as you can see, there's 3 LocoNet inputs on that, which is great because one, you might want to put a controller in, and of course your daisy chain unit from all your detection units. And you can have, as I've got, the wireless system as well to make your controller work wirelessly. It's very reliable, it's good, and I like that. Well, it just goes to say thank you for tuning in, and that was a course on simplifying block detection for us just starting out in that direction. And keep your eyes peeled for some more courses, all under the courses tab on my channel. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe, it won't hurt the bank balance, helping you to help me to help everybody else. Until the next one, happy modelling.